Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. From whichever part of the world you're logging in right now, welcome to this webinar with Locus. I'm Mehul Kapadia, Chief Revenue Officer here at Locus. Locus, we are an AI-powered dispatch, transport, and carrier orchestration platform. We operate across the globe with over 200 customers in about 30 countries. And I'm very, very pleased today to welcome Shashi Tripathi, who's a
Hi.
co-founder of eShipz, to join us today for this conversation, where we're going to focus a bit around how does customer experience really help in transforming for retail companies what they need to do, and what is the role that logistics actually plays in helping them do that transformation on customer experience. So Shashi, if you could get a quick introduction from your side for our viewers here.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It is pleasure meeting you all in this In Focus event. So let me introduce myself. I'm Shashi Shekhar Tripathi. I'm co-founder at eShipz, currently managing the marketing and the finance at eShipz. Uh, in terms of eShipz, and I actually come from a background of logistics. I've worked with multiple logistics companies for 12 years and then started this organization called eShipz. In context to what we are trying to build here, we are trying to digitize the logistics platform for the multiple shippers and the carriers, helping them to automate their processes. So we have seen that the companies have faced a lot of problems in terms of doing process manually. Because of the manual process, a lot of errors get happen and it creates a lot of backlogs in terms of dispatches, in terms of deliveries, and ultimately it comes to a lot of cost. So we are trying to digitize this in a way that it brings cost down for all the companies actually.
Interesting, and thank you for joining us. So let's get started, right? See, one statistic that I was reading somewhere is that actually post COVID,
Correct.
the cost that companies are spending on last mile delivery has actually gone up from being 41% of their total logistics spend to 53% of their total logistics spend, which is significant, right?
Absolutely.
And in some sense, if I look at it, and as I talk to customers globally, and especially I want to focus on retail customers, large retail organizations, uh, one of their challenges has been that with this cost going up, but customers expecting this as part of their omni-channel mix,
Correct.
right? How do you think should be the starting point of solving for this, right? As if you're a retailer, if you want to create an omni-channel experience, what should be your starting point for it?
Super. So retail in particular has gone through multiple transformation, and during the last 4 years, the transformation has been more of a circle kind of transformation. Pre-COVID, we have seen that the e-commerce was booming like anything. Uh, then we have seen that the retail segment, I mean the people visiting stores had increased, and then again circle back to the e-commerce. So just before COVID, people were doing multiple visits to the stores to purchase also because they wanted to have a hands-on experience on the product. But because of COVID restrictions, again the e-commerce came into the picture. After COVID, people again felt that there should be a mix of both. So the companies who were pure e-commerce oriented have slowly moving towards physical presence. You have seen Nykaa, Sugar Cosmetics, and many companies. Now they have, I mean, pre-COVID they were almost having 0 stores. Now they're having roughly around 100 plus stores across multiple locations. So this is how the retail industry has changed drastically. Companies who were pure hardcore logistics oriented, or I'll say hard asset based businesses, they went into e-commerce and then they again went back to the hardcore like store based kind of business model. Now in context to the logistics, what we have seen that the demand of the customers are also changing the similar way. So they were happy to receive the products 2 days, 3 days later. Now they are thinking that can I get this product in maybe next 2 hours, 3 hours also. During this period, although the companies have invested in a lot of in terms of their technology enhancement, but things are changing like ever. I mean, customers want more accuracy, less returns. Can I have a EDD kind of expectation? I mean, can I get to know when is the exact time I should be getting those products and all? So the cost increase which we have seen is basically an investment which companies have made towards a new technology which they are planning to do something for the future. In the next couple of years, we'll see this is going to optimize to a lot, which means that the increase in the spend which they have done it, now they will start getting the returns. So, I mean, we were speaking to a couple of large retail companies. They had invested a lot. They don't say that it's a procurement of new services. they say that I have invested a lot in new technology which will help me in doing predictions. They also want to know the square feet of that location actually. So a couple of European based companies, they are looking into a destination. Even if you are in a building, they can map the square foot of the location from where you are booking the order, so that I don't have to find on which floor I have to go make a call and do the deliveries. So they are doing those investment, which is a cost as of now, but gradually I think it will bring a lot of efficiency to the table for both customer and for the merchant also.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And actually, since you mentioned about European client, so one European customer that I'm speaking to currently, right, I see three very significant trends coming in to help improve customer experience for them. One is this whole omni-channel piece, right?
Correct.
And omni-channel, especially both in terms of how they place the order. So you could be using an app, you could be using the website, you could be calling up, or you could actually be visiting a physical store to place an order, right? So there is that whole omni-channel experience in terms of your purchase behavior. And then there is a omni-channel fulfillment, right? Because fulfillment could be delivered to my house, fulfillment could be delivered to my office because that's where I spend the bulk of my day in. Or it could be I'll place the order, but I'll pick it up at a store close to me, or I'll pick it up from a locker, right? So, or curbside pickup as well has started up. So, omni-channel in terms of ordering, omni-channel in terms of fulfillment. So that's one key customer experience area that we are seeing, right? The second is also then returns, right?
Absolutely.
Because if you see a significant portion, and depending upon country to country, US 2 years back, about 16% of what people bought and delivered at home was actually getting returned.
Oh, in
Right?
Europe also.
In US, that's the statistics from US, right? And Europe also similar trends different in different country. So returns becomes a key. Now returns again has a very significant customer experience point, right? And plus, every time my inventory is stuck in returns, actually that is that much less inventory I have to sell.
Absolutely.
So very important for the shipper as well. So that's the second big area that we are seeing there. And then the third is really in terms of what I would like to say on time in full, right? Now, because we order multiple things, we fill up our basket, and especially for marketplaces, even for retailers where some of the products actually come in from some third-party brand,
Absolutely.
getting all of it done as a fulfillment on time, in full, and lowering and making your cost efficient, right, is another challenge. So I just wanted to set this up that if you look at these three challenges, right, how should a retailer try to, if you zoom in from a last mile standpoint, right, and the choice of fleets or the mix of how they should do it, what would be your thoughts around that?
I mean, very, very interesting topic. I actually love this topic. Omni-channel, we call this as a. What we have seen that the companies, generally the focus area is how do I grow my sales.
Yeah.
So anything and everything which is coming to me as a sales, I should take it up. Now, whether it is from physical stores, whether it is from online channel, whether it is from marketplaces, or whether I enable a PUDO model where someone is placing an order by visiting stores, someone can pick it up, all of this they want to enable it because it's an additional sales for them. Now, at the back end, company have to see which all are the sources of order. So a large company which is delivering like hundreds and thousands of orders on a daily basis, they will love to have, can I see all on a single platform, whether it is coming from a channel A, B, C, D, and post which can I select those orders. I mean, I can have a different mode of dispatches because my focus is not only getting sales but also having a limitations on my cost, logistics cost. So can I have a control on the cost? Can I select few orders and dispatch it through some specific carriers? Can I decide who is the right service partner basis? Priorities. Priorities could be not only the cost, it can be a high value product which needs a premium services, or maybe someone is a very big customer, maybe a corporate customer. I want to give them a better experience as against a normal any other carrier actually. So that's where this omni-channel is a bigger project where companies do multiple aspects of the business. So for example, we work with one company, some who have got this omni business as such. The one of the challenge was, can I have B2C and B2B orders also on the same platform? Apart from e-commerce where you can get orders from Myntra, Flipkart and many others, can I get a B2B business also from the same platform? Now, B2B, I can be doing business with companies like Gati, Safe Express, All Cargo, Home Logistics, and many others. Or I can be doing with someone who is like Shashi Transports, who has got 5 trucks, daily dispatch, doing dispatches. Companies need to have a balance there, because if you go into too much of cut-off time kind of business, you may have a latency in terms of the dispatches also. So the national players, they will have 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock as a cut-off time, but this offline players, they can do pickup at any point of time. So that's where this omni-channel from a managing on a single platform has come up very frequently. I mean, people are asking for it. Can I manage anything and everything of my logistics on a single channel? In context to retail, the experience, as you mentioned, customer will have a different experience in all the cases. So, for example, a goods which is getting delivered by a Dunzo, as against a goods getting delivered by a Blue Dart, or against someone who is like India Post, they will have a 3 different kind of experience. And experience does not come at the time of collecting the packet, but even before also. If he's aware that Dunzo is going to come, he will have a different expectation, which means that roughly in 15-20 minutes of buffer time, this person should be here. As against Blue Dart, they don't know that this guy is going to come. He has some POD devices which need to be signed and all. As against India Post, who can even drop my package to the security and go also. I mean, all 3 different experience, and this is something where companies are trying to see if we can make this as a common equal experience for them. One of the use cases what we have seen was in order to do faster dispatch for retail companies, because let's say $1 billion sale, BBD, and many other which people do it. How can I fastly dispatch it? So when the orders are coming, so one of the scenarios is when you have the full address of the customer and you are fetching and then doing the dispatch. The other businesses are where they have a phone number. With the phone number, automatically they get to data, I mean from the previous historical data, what is the address of that customer, automatically it will, so this, they call it as address fetch. Now the other technology which companies are investing is, can I do a address verification? Address verification could be some basic parameter saying that the address has got certain characters, certain limit. I mean, it should have minimum of 35 characters. It should not have like ABCD. I mean, it's if it is like those kind of intelligence people are bringing. And there is also one new thing which people are coming is, how do I validate those address? Which means that, let's say if I am a customer, I have placed 10 orders over a period of 3 months and I have returned 7 orders, which means that I'm a customer of question mark.
Should you even sell to that customer?
Yeah, I mean, you should red flag to the merchant, maybe giving an option to the customer, do you want to convert this into prepaid, as against having that inventory getting blocked for, I mean, roughly 15-20 odd days. Chances of getting damaged and chances of getting, the shipping cost is also an extra cost. So companies are trying to look into multiple options. Now, few are doing at initial stage, few want to do it in phases and all. That's how we have seen the omni-channel getting changing again.
No, absolutely, and that's where our partnership comes into play, right? So, for the benefit of our viewers, so Locus and eShipz, recently we've tied up where we now have access to eShipz carrier partners, and those carrier partners now get access to our customers, right? So shippers are able to then manage either through their own captive fleets or through the carrier orchestration that we do with eShipz. So that's a great way to do that omni-channel fulfillment for customers as well. And building on that further, right? So if we look at it, and you mentioned the different experiences you'll get with different carriers.
Absolutely.
Now, that's a reality because the cost models are different. The models of coverage are different, especially if you look at a country like India. Not everybody covers every pin code of the country, right?
Sure,
so again, that also comes into play. How do you think retailers should balance between the need for then full visibility and transparency and quote unquote control versus the ability to actually service versus the ability of cost? So it's become like you're getting pulled in 3 different directions of customer experience, your ability to control from an organization standpoint, and of course the cost element that comes into play.
So visibility is, it is not something which can be done by one partner alone. When I say one partner, I mean that one segment of partners alone. So for example, let's say if I'm a merchant, I have to send the goods to the customer. Now there are three parties involved. One is a merchant, carrier, and the end consumer. Now the factors will rotate around all three of them. So for example, let's start with the end consumer. End consumer may not be available at all point of time. He's taking phone calls, but he's not disconnecting. He's not giving the proper answer. So how do we ensure that we do the best deliveries? Now companies have started coming, with a new innovation where they give option to the customer to decide what time I should do the delivery. Sometimes they even do the validation of the phone number. So I will not move my goods from the warehouse unless you validate or confirm saying that this is my address. Surprisingly, I ordered something for my parents who are staying in village and all. They asked me for the exact location.
Yes.
You have to give me the exact location, then only the parcel will be, delivered. Those are some of the things which are important, because as a merchant, I cannot spend or I cannot send a vehicle to your location and not having the delivery being made. So this is something where the end consumer, there are factors around him, which means that whether he's in right location, he's actually responding to the calls and the messages and all, then enabling with the technology where he can give the exact location. He can share on WhatsApp and automatically it get blocked and the person will be assigned for the pickup. The second is basically carriers. Now for the visibility point of view, carriers have different systems. So the larger companies will have 20 checkpoints. Let's say even if the goods are moving from Bangalore to Bangalore, they'll have 20 checkpoints, which means that moved from Koramangala, then went to this hub, then in transit, it can then have out for delivery, and it can have 20 actually, I've seen. However, few companies who have just 4 or 5 of them, and there are few companies who have got just one, which is like delivered. So there are three different, why this happens, because each company have a different scanners. At each point when they move, they scan it. Now, if I have infrastructure or the assets which can scan at all the locations, I can get those 20 checkpoints. If I have less, I will get less. If I have more, I'll get more. Now, in terms of the API calls, now few companies give you certain information on schedules, which means that you run a schedule of every 2 hours, 3 hours. You pull the information from the system, where is my package? However, the other scenario is where they push the data on real time, which means that every time the status is changed, I'm informing the merchant that the goods are moved from here. Now, these are some advanced technologies. Now, the third is basically where the merchant, he has to, see what visibility he's looking at. Now, visibility can be, can I see all the parcels on a single screen? Visibility can be, can I see the parcels per brand? Let's say if I have 5 brands. Let's say, can I see per carrier? Can I see per warehouse? All of this is, very interesting thing to look into. If you look at, let's say 2 months, 3 months, 6 months data, when you dig deep, you'll be able to identify, actually I'm spending more on a carrier who seems to be very efficient in terms of deliveries, as against the other guy where I'm spending less, but he's doing better deliveries. So
absolutely,
this is where the visibility on a common dashboard helps a lot to these companies.
And because that visibility then really helps you do the right choices, right?
Exactly.
So because it's not easy to say just give the shipment to one person, right?
It.
There are factors around, will they deliver on time? There are factors around what's their past history of what they've done, good or bad, right? There are factors around coverage, there are factors around pickup time, there are factors around their flexibility to provide information back, because some high value products you may actually want to give that degree of visibility back to the customer. So,
and in that actually, at eShipz what we have done is, let's say a merchant is placing an order. Now, basis his historical data, he has seen that X carrier can be a better option, basis his manual understanding. However, system is red flag as Y. So we give them an option to decide at last minute. Even if auto runs saying that this is going to go on a carrier X, we give them a last, do you still want to process on that same, or do you want to have the other partner who can do it a little better mode actually?
Absolutely. And that's where again, talking to the partnership that we have, Locus is Shiftflex, which is a platform that we have which connects into eShipz. Uh, Leveraging these platforms, actually shippers can get that full choice. So on Shiftflex, it's actually a rule-based engine. You can configure the rules. You can even make the rules dynamic, right? So depending upon customer behavior, you could actually then decide who should be my shipping partner. Sometimes you may actually incur more cost but give better experience. Sometimes you can save cost but do experience which is acceptable, right, to the customer as well. Sometimes you could do things which are around your business goals. So, for example, if sustainability is a big goal for you as an enterprise, as an organization, then we can actually help you find the carriers who can help you in that sustainability goal, right? Because there you may say, you may actually want to give something as a bonus to your customer, a discount back to the customer to take the delivery 2 days later so that it's clubbed with something else. So a whole range of such things can be done, right? And that's
Correct.
the beauty of some of these emerging platforms and what's happening. So great to understand this aspect around customer experience.
Absolutely.
So one of the interesting topics we were talking about was on returns, right? And I was referring to some of the Gartner data when I spoke about US and that 16% returns. And one very interesting insight is that typically a lot of companies initially have looked at returns as pretty much just a reverse path of delivery,
That's true.
right? Which conventionally seems logical, right? However, actually, the fundamental difference is that you may have shipped the product from Delhi to Mumbai, right? And you still have more customers in Mumbai in any case. So, if a return is happening from Mumbai, if you actually could intermediate hold it somewhere in Mumbai and run an offer, get a customer who
Absolutely.
wants that same product, and if you're able to like repackage it and deliver, you probably save 3 days and a lot of cost, right? So if you look at just returns and go deep into it a little bit,
Sure.
right? Any flavor, any anecdotal examples that you have around how shippers have used different carriers to run returns in a better way?
Absolutely. I mean, so returns, we from a logistics language, we call this two kind of returns. I mean, one is basically RTO, which means that I'm sending goods to you, you are not accepting it, it is automatically getting returned.
Yeah.
There is a lot of nuances in terms of managing those. I mean, what happens is why those returns are happening. Have you done the proper attempt to do the deliveries? Bigger question merchant ask is the customers are doing a fake attempt and saying that they have attempted because they don't want to go to that location. It is a little far-flung areas, maybe one of the deliveries and all. Cost is not, sense to do those deliveries and all. So they will say that I have done 2 or 3 attempts, but actually they have done once. This could be counter argument where people can say that no, you have not attempted and all. That can go for long discussions actually. The second is why that return is happening, whether the product is not right or the customer is not taking phone. What could be those returns? So companies want to capture that information also, particularly retail customer where the number of SKUs which they're dispatching is much higher. However, in case of the second model is basically return where someone has accepted the product, they realize that it is the wrong product. The colors are different, it's a different size, some other product which is meant for some other customer has come. So that is the second mode of return. We call this the reverse logistics. Now in both cases, the companies have to do 2 different approaches. If it is a direct return, merchant will want to see how many deliveries you have made, attempt of deliveries at the time of attempts also. So one particular example, we work with a company called Savix. They do roughly around 1.5 to 2 lakh shipments in a month. Now they want to know, there is a specific need there where they say that I want to see how many attempts have been made, at what time they have made. Can I have even a geo, mapping where I see that they've actually gone there? Can I get this? In some cases they get those data, but in some cases because of the carrier restriction they don't get this. So that's one use case. The second is if returns are happening, a QC is required, quality check. It should not happen that someone has ordered, used the product and then returning after 2-3 days as a more of a party. That's where they need to do QC also. People have not torn the dress and then returning it all. So QC requires sort of technical angle to it. First of all, the person who is going to check those products, is he sound enough? Is he having that skills to check it properly? It should not create an additional tussle between a merchant and the end consumer. Is he sound enough to have that necessary skill set and the technology to update into the system? Which means that first of all, he'll see the, let's say phone, he will do multiple checks. So for example, they have the screen checks. So they have some code which they use it on the phone and they can do a screen check. How do he, I mean, is he carrying the necessary devices with him to do those checks actually? That is one way. Second is when the returns are happening, how many days of returns it is taking. Third is, can I deliver it to the nearest location? As you mentioned that if returns are happening from Mumbai, why it has to travel to Bangalore and then waste two more days of additional inventory, or maybe even the cost also. Mumbai to Mumbai could be cheaper as against Mumbai to Bangalore. So there are multiple angles to it. Companies are trying to find a right mix. Surprisingly, in India, things have become better. We have seen that the returns on the COD orders was roughly around 60% pre-COVID. Now it has come down to roughly around 48%. So 12% reduction is actually helping merchants a lot.
Which is a lot, yeah.
And it is not happening because of the technology only, but also because of the market is maturing. E-commerce has come very, 2010 is when the people have started doing e-commerce business in India. And gradually over the last 10 years, they have seen that what can happen. There are scenarios where companies are thinking that I can blacklist a consumer also. Let's say a consumer who has placed 10 orders and 9 of the orders he has returned. Can I have this customer into a section which is a red flag customer? So customer is also aware that second time merchant will ask for additional money. So for example, you can have a free shipping, but if you are a return prone customer, they will ask you 10 rupees extra. So that these are some of the control measures which companies through technology are bringing to have a control on how can we do better.
Yeah. The more the visibility, the more you can put the
Exactly.
checks and balances in place into these things as well. Yeah, and so if you really see net through the course of the conversation, what we've tried to cover on is that if you're a retail organization looking at improving your customer experience, then specific focus on omni-channel. How are you enabling the omni-channel both at the purchase and at the fulfillment point? And then ensuring that all of this is getting done with a very effective logistics operation that you can run, right? Whether it's your own captive fleet, whether you're outsourcing, or you're using carrier orchestration with products like Shiftflex and eShipz to enable you to do that. So I hope you find a lot of important and interesting information for you. Would love to know more feedback from you and comments from you on this. And thank you so much, Shashi, for joining
so
us
much.
today on this
Thank you.
conversation. Thank you.